Hello, my name is Carly and welcome back or welcome to Unveiling University. I am a third-year secondary education major at the University of Maine in Orono, but today's video is for anyone starting a new school year because we are diving into back to school on a budget. So let's jump right in. The first tip is going to be waiting for sales. It's an obvious one that I'm sure everyone's mom has drilled into them for the past, I don't know how many years. But many stores really do offer great back-to-school deals, especially right now. For example, my sister just like 2-3 days ago bought one subject notebooks for only 45 cents, which is more than 50% off the regular price. The main problem with waiting for sales is that you might end up going overboard and buying everything just because it's on sale. To combat compulsive purchases, you can shop online, or tip 2, plan ahead. To avoid overbuying and spending way too much just because something is a good deal or is really cute, it's a good idea to make a list of the supplies you need to buy and stick to it. To help plan and budget your back-to-school shopping, we have created a handy organizer. I'll go into more detail about how to use it at the end of this video. It'll also be linked in the description below. Also, you can plan farther in advance and ask for needed school supplies for your birthday or Christmas. It might not be the most exciting gifts, but they are really practical and can save you a lot of money during back-to-school season. That brings us to tip number 3, which is to choose your products wisely. To avoid overpaying for items, you should try to avoid name brand and decorated supplies. Even if they are cuter and more trendy, that does come at a price. If you want fun designs, you should consider using markers and stickers to decorate store brand supplies. But if there really is that one special item that you really have to have, you can try budgeting for it and sacrificing in other areas. For example, if you really want a trendy name brand backpack, you can opt for cheaper markers, pencils, pens, etc. Or you can, tip number 4, check what you already have. At my house, we always have a box of leftover school supplies from previous years. We also always have pens and pencils laying everywhere. So using these items that have already been purchased is a great way to save during the back-to-school season. Another tip that is a little bit different is going digital. Instead of buying paper planners and notebooks, you can consider digital options that are not only lighter on your wallet, but also in your backpack. As a commuter student, I am super glad that I switched to a digital planner because it's one less thing that I have to carry around. You can always choose to design your own, find one online free, or even pay a smaller price for a digital planner than a paper planner, including some that cost about $10 for a nice digital planner when you'd probably pay more like $20 for the paper version. At Unveiling University, we have created a free student digital planner that you can access on our website, which will also be in the description below. In terms of taking notes online, I haven't been converted yet, though I can appreciate the ease of having less paper to lug around and having access to your notes wherever and whenever you have Wi-Fi. I can also write so much faster than I can type. But if you're a speedy typer and already have the technology, it's certainly cheaper than buying a notebook for every class, every semester. Also, many professors have adjusted their rules on technology during class to allow for online note-taking, but there are still a few who haven't, so I would be sure to bring at least one notebook with you on the first day of class and check the syllabus and check with the professor to see if you can take typed notes. One common argument against going digital is missing the feeling of writing by hand. For those with tablets, you can use an annotation app and a stylus to create that similar feel. Also for planners, it's an option to create or find one online and then print it out, but depending on the amount of pages, this could actually end up costing more than just buying a store-bought planner. So I would recommend trying digital planning and note-taking because it could save you money and backpack space. Now we're going to move into some textbook buying tips because these can easily become very expensive, but there are some ways to lower the bill. You can wait until classes start to be sure that you do need the textbook because sometimes professors put down that the textbook is required when you really never crack it open. This is a risky decision that I have never made, because the longer you wait, the less copies that will be available in stock, which means that you might have to buy a new one rather than a used one. But the risk can pay off if you never need to use the textbook. A similar tip to this is waiting to unwrap plastic wrap textbooks until after you're sure you need it, because you usually can return the textbook if it's still wrapped, but you definitely cannot return it after it's unwrapped. The next tip that I would definitely recommend is buying used. Used books are always cheaper than the new ones. It is important to remember that the cheapest books are often in the worst condition. You can get lucky with a book that wants to never cracked open, but you can also end up with a book covered in highlighter and notes with pages ripping out or missing an online access code. So be careful with buying used. You can also compare prices from different sellers. There are many places to buy textbooks: your campus bookstore, directly from the publisher, online shops such as Amazon and thrift books. Sometimes campus bookstores will charge slightly higher prices because of their convenient location, but other times they're able to get a really good deal for buying in bulk and can offer students a lower price than even the publisher will offer. The publisher will only be selling new books, where the bookstore and online sources will usually sell new and used. But buying through the publisher, you can avoid resale markups. Online vendors like Amazon's, like I said, often sell used books for really cheap prices, but they do have varying levels of damage, so it is important that you do try and look into that and recognize that risk. A note about searching for sellers other than your campus bookstore is that I would recommend searching by the ISBN rather than the title to make sure that you are getting the right edition of the textbook. Another related note is that some campus bookstores, like my own at the University of Maine, are switching to a flat rate or a per credit book fee each semester that's tacked onto your student bill. Therefore, your scholarships can pay for your textbooks if your school sets it up this way. If you have a major that needs a lot of expensive textbooks, or like I said, if you have a lot of extra scholarship money, these programs can help save you a lot of money. But if you're like me, who's an education major, and you don't need many textbooks, or maybe just one or two, I would recommend shopping around and seeing if you can opt out, because at UMaine, our price is $240 a semester, and I only needed 3 textbooks, one that I found free online, one that was like $15, and one that was $18. That was way less, so I opted out and saved a good chunk of money. Also, if you're really lucky, like I was, you can find free PDFs of your textbook online. It might not be the right edition, but it will be similar enough, but I would check in with your professor. My final textbook tip is check for free access through your campus library. University libraries may hold physical copies of certain classes' textbooks that can be used within the library by students in the class. The drawback of this is that you don't know when someone else may be using it, and it's not always the most up-to-date edition, but it usually is sufficient. University libraries also often have a lot of online resources available free to students, and this can include your textbooks, which I actually was lucky, and this semester and last semester, I had one textbook each semester that was offered a free digital version through the university library. Okay, so those are all of my tips. So as promised, we will briefly look over our back to school on a budget organizer. All you have to do is set an overall limit of what you can afford to spend this year. Then brainstorm what you need for each of the 3 categories: supplies, textbooks, and clothes and dorm stuff. Once you've determined that what you need, check what you already have hiding around your home and create a shopping list. There's also a section to note which deals and stores you want to shop at. I do have for each of the 3 categories, there's a budget for each category. I would recommend starting with that textbook category because that's going to be the one that you're going to have the hardest time trying to stay in budget, I believe. Finally, for accountability and for your budgeting next year, there's a place to write your final total spending. So please let us know in the comments below if you stayed on budget. So a quick wrap up. My 6 tips were: 1. Wait for sales. 2. Plan ahead. 3. Choose your products wisely. 4. Check what you already have. 5. Consider going digital. And 6. Search around for textbooks to find the best value copies. Well, thank you for watching as we unveil university.